Adventure Ho and Lumineers, welcome back to another episode of Ducktale Dads. Just wanted to give you a brief intro here, since you may notice the beginning sounds a little bit differently. We are going to cut out the music at the beginning and end of our episodes now, as we are trying to just trend in the right direction and do things the right way. So, for those that have been listening for a while, you will not hear the music at the beginning and end anymore as intro and outro music. We'll do our best to find out a new transition going forward, but I hope you really enjoy this episode. We had our friends from Love and Lorcana join us for this week's episode, and it's a fantastic conversation, and it's really a treat, so enjoy.
Adventure Ho Lumineers, and welcome back to another episode of the Ducktale Dads. I'm one of your hosts, Nathaniel, joined as always by Mac and Ryan, and two very special guests today, Ron and Jenna from Love and Lorcana. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
We feel super lucky. Really excited to have these two on the podcast today. Some of you may know them from a couple different social media channels. We'll definitely dig in plenty to their experience with Lorcana and beyond, and how great they are in our Minnesota and beyond community. So yeah, I mean, do you guys want to introduce yourselves first, and then we can kind of get into what's new in your world?
Sure, Jenna, go ahead.
Oh, only okay. I'm Jenna, and we have been doing Love and Lorcana for just over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and this is my husband, Ron. We got married in September, so that's new for us. And yeah, it's just we love doing this, and are excited for what's next.
Yeah. And as she said, I'm Ron, so not far off from the introduction there. Yeah, we're just excited to be here and kind of stoked for Winterspell, honestly. So
You and me both. I just want to jump in and say it's been. I've only met y'all a couple of times in person, but it's been incredible. Every time we get a chance to chat, y'all are just so welcoming and warm, and it's incredible. It's not surprising then that you've been able to create this wonderful community of your own with your channel and with your other streaming successes. So looking forward to getting to talk with y'all more tonight, and hopefully meet up with y'all more in the future too, because it's always a pleasure. It's always a delight to get to chop it up with y'all, because I think Ron and I share a love for Blurple, obviously. And it's always fun to beat up on an Amber Steel player every now and then too. So that's always a good thing.
It's a great time. Yes. No, it's really nice. It's easy to be a part of a community like this where everybody, I feel like, for the most part, is so incredibly welcoming. So
man, it's crazy.
It's easy to be a part of the community, and yeah, you build on that. So
yeah, I think the wider Minnesota community is really lucky to have both of you in this community, and how much you both have traveled around the Twin Cities for events has been really impressive. I think the first time I ever saw you was at a Set Champs before I even was familiar with the channel, and then having gotten to play against you in the trio event this last set, a couple other Set Champs since then, and of course seeing you at the 2-year anniversary, have definitely run into you both plenty, and plan on doing it a lot more. But yeah, I would definitely second what Ryan mentioned, is you guys both bring such just a sense of joy to the game and just the community aspect. And I think it's really important that we have more and more people who are doing that, as well as, wanting to get better and wanting to play and be competitive, just as much as you want to be kind of building something even greater beyond just the actual gameplay itself. Yeah, I mean, we aspire to be like you in a lot of ways. So that being said, I think we generally like to start, as you know, with what's new in your world. So I'll put you both on the spot to start us off with what is new in your world as we kind of switch gears here from set 10 to set 11.
Sure, I'll go first. Like Jenna said, just this last September we got married. Went to Mexico for that, so it was a destination wedding. And it was really fun. I miss it, especially with all the snow right now.
Yeah,
how cold it is. It's crazy weather. Otherwise, just, I don't know, Set Champ season is over. We did get some new tattoos, some matching tattoos.
Oh, yes. Hakuna Matata tattoos.
We got Hakuna Matata, and then
To Infinity
and Beyond. So, so a little bit of it right there. Yeah. But yeah, it's that was fun. Yeah, that was fun. Cool. Yeah. So
we also did the set champs. We got 6 top 8s between the two of us on 5 different set champs. So
yeah,
that was really fun.
It was pretty fun. Pretty fun. We just kicked off our new website. Like we're going through our website instead of like solely TikTok. So just little things, here and there. We're trying to build out the community, reach other platforms. We want to go on a lot of other platforms just to get Lorcana out there, not necessarily to rip packs, but, to spread the word about Lorcana, because it's like the community is, without the community, it's nothing, everything makes.
I also feel like it's a lot bigger than I even realized.
Yeah, it's huge. It's
like
huge.
Even so, there was that Peppers and Pack challenge, with Dex
Yep.
Dad, and he was challenging other people to open packs, and these Lorcana creators were popping up all over the place, and I was like, I did not know that there were so many. So
and that's just on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see it on YouTube now too, and it's huge. It's crazy. So that's what's new with us, I think. So
kiddos are good.
Yep, everybody's good. Family's healthy, so we're good.
So I also just realized, I think before we get into our own what's new in our worlds, we introduced you as being the two founders and owners of Love and Lorcana, but for those who aren't familiar, can you just tell our audience, what is Love and Lorcana? Like what is the brand?
Yeah, it's so Love and Lorcana is a streaming platform, I guess. Well, we stream on TikTok and we open packs, rip and ships is what they call them, except we don't just do that. But that's what it started as. We just enjoyed watching other people open packs. And I was like, hey, I want to do that. It sounds fun. So we started doing that, and it kind of evolved into the rip and ship. But then we also do play Lorcana on our stream and, teach other people how to play Lorcana and have tournaments and things like that. So, yeah, that's the basics of it.
Yeah, we definitely didn't go into it
Yeah.
wanting to be a rip and ship channel. Like we started playing, started collecting first, and then, it kind of snowballed from there. I'm sure we'll touch on it more later.
Yeah.
But it snowballed from there.
You were to tell me 2 years ago that I was going to be a streamer.
Right.
I would literally have told
exactly,
you.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, because we had 2 people in our stream when we started opening some Azurite Sea, when it came out. So, and that's when we started. So, yeah, it's been a huge year. It's been a huge year.
That's kind of amazing that that's when it started, because Azurite is really where a lot of things came together for us too. That was the first set that I was starting to get a little bit more seriously into the game, and it's also the set that I introduced Ryan to Lorcana, where we were at an event that was just up the road from him, and I got dinner with him and introduced him to just like, what is Lorcana, and within a month he was like, yeah, I'm in. It was awesome. So it was actually during Azurite Sea, so it's really cool that like that probably always has like a special place in our own hearts and lore, I guess. So it's cool that's also kind of a big one for y'all as well.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to echo the fact that a healthy family is probably the biggest blessing this time of year in the middle of the cold winter. The other thing with the temperature outside is I always have to look at one of those memes this time of year when it's this frigid and almost unbearably cold. Of the meme is basically, this is why I live somewhere where the wind hurts my face, and it's like photos of like an alligator at a door, a big old python at a door, some like coyotes or some like giant mountain lions or something like that at somebody's front step. It's just like giant spiders, like all those things. I have to look at one of those photos just to remind myself, like, yes, this is why you live where you live. You can survive the cold, you can bundle up, but if you come face to face with an alligator, probably not going to end well. That's all. That's why I just have to keep reminding myself of that every exactly.
Yeah. So on that note, Ryan, what's new in your world, man?
New in my world, our toddler just upgraded from crib to toddler bed, and that's been game changing. So that's incredible. They want to get into bed now. It's not a fight for the last few days. I'm sure that novelty will wear off eventually, but that's been a huge game changer for the whole household. On a Lorcana front, just getting super excited about Winter Spell. Been just playing around on Dreamborn and putting together decks with the cards that have been uploaded so far. Kudos to whoever runs Dreamborn as well for like very timely uploads this reveal season as well. Where I think we're already like 2/3 or 3/4 of the way uploaded, and I think we're all the way up to speed with all the new releases or new reveals. So that's awesome. That's been awesome. Just getting really excited about the new possibilities in the new set. I think maybe we'll talk more about it today or maybe next week, but there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of new color combinations that are not necessarily brand new, but coming back into the meta discussion and trying to figure out how it works and what's going to work and what needs to change about those lists. But yeah, I'm just really pumped, really excited about Winterspell with all the reveals coming out. And I didn't go to set champs last weekend, so my competitive set champ season was done a couple weekends ago. So I've been able to really dive in head first, full fledged into the reveal season and paying attention as they pop up on Facebook and Instagram as I follow along with all the creators that I follow there. Mac, what's new in your world?
So unlike you, I was able to go to a set champs this weekend, and I met Ron and Jenna there. We were all part of the same set champs down at Issues Needed in Apple Valley, Minnesota. Ernie, who we've had on the pod and tends to be Nathaniel's deck builder, he was the one that hosted the event, or always hosts the event at Issues Needed, and he always puts on a good show, brings together a good crowd, and it was a lot of fun. It's just nice, putting shiny cardboard down in front of you and seeing what happens and what interactions you can come with. And I did fairly well. I made it to top 4, which was nice. Sorry, Ron, we had to battle each other out at one point. And I think that's ultimately what pulled you out of the top 4 running. But from me not even making top 8 the previous weekend, it was nice to kind of get rewarded in that aspect and making top 4.
Swing from one weekend to the next.
Yeah, it's wild. I think I played a better deck, to be fair, and we'll get into that when we do kind of the set champs and review. But it was really fun to get out. In terms of non-Lorcana related, my wife this past week just had an impromptu. My friend invited me to the Rascal Flatts concert. Is it okay if I go? So I had a good boys' night with my 2 boys. We got to watch a movie. We do this thing every Friday night. We do movie nights, and we rotate who gets to choose the movie. And all of them tend to be Disney. And it was actually my night, so it was nice to pick a movie and hang out with the 2 boys. And we had a boys' night while Mom was out enjoying a concert. We ultimately ended up watching Ice Age. I felt like that was pretty appropriate for our kids' ages, and they had a blast. So I think they're already looking forward to the next Ice Age. So we'll see what happens, what my oldest son will then choose next week. So, but he's also in a High School Musical phase, so that's probably what he'll end up choosing is High School Musical right now as well. But that's new in my world. What about you, Nathaniel? I think you're last.
I'm surprised with Mom going to Rascal Flatts, you didn't choose to watch Cars. So for those of you who know the soundtrack, baby.
Yeah, my youngest chooses Cars probably every other time. So that is by far his favorite movie. And it's almost getting to the point where it's just like, okay, we watched that about the last 3 times.
I think we could probably recite Cars from start to finish.
Yes.
Over and over. Bellamy is
credits
obsessed. Oh yeah, that's his jam.
At least the movie's incredible, right? Like it's at least like a good watch, right?
It's very
Also, Ryan, I wanted to piggyback off of your toddler going from a crib to a big bed. We also just went through that a couple months ago, and it started off great. And then I would just like to let you know that we just had to switch his door handle to put the lock on the outside. So.
Good advice.
So that's how that's going. Yeah. In case anybody was wondering.
Thanks for the warning of what's in my future. I can't wait for that for us to cross that bridge when we get there. That'll be a blast.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep it brief for me. From a Lorcana perspective, I finally got all of my cards from this Whispers set into Dreamborn and organized. I don't know why, but sometimes I just am I can't deal with this, right? I'll take the cards I need to build my actual deck, and I'll just have the rest of them in a big stack, and I'll figure it out later. And I just waited all the way till the end of set champs to finally input all those. It just feels good to get done with that. I don't know. There's something cathartic about having everything organized and clean and easy to find. So that was good. From a personal life perspective, I think I might have mentioned this. I'm taking up piano this year, and I've been really leaning into that. That's been a lot of fun. And my oldest kiddo is kind of casually interested in lessons too. We'll put it, I guess. So yeah, that's been fun to kind of lean into that and kind of see where we can go with it. But I think we should talk a little bit about, because now we're kind of at this point, right, where this last weekend was the last weekend of Set Champs, and especially cool that 3 people here were at the same one, right, where Matt got to see you two. So I think, you had mentioned, Ron and Jenna, that you got 6 top 8s between the two of you. So I think that's if you from 5 Set Champs, right? So 10 total entries, 6 top 8 placements. So definitely got the playset of the Daisy, which is awesome. So congrats on that. So I think one question we'd have for you is like, how do you go about like planning all this out, right? Because both of you generally play together, right? Like you don't normally have a Set Champs where like just Ron's going to be there.
Right. Yes. Yeah. We do play all of our Set Champs together and all of our league nights. Really, we don't really go unless we both can go. Kind of our time sometimes. But when we play locally at our store here at VB, our youngest usually comes with us. It's pretty kid friendly. But our Set Champs specifically, we like to sit down in front of a calendar and my mom to talk about which weekends she's open to watch Bellamy. And then also we have like a neighbor that will watch him sometimes too. So we sit down before the season and it's that handy dandy spreadsheet that AJ makes. We take a look at it and figure out which weekends we're available to do what. So, but yeah, we pretty much don't go unless both of us can go.
Yeah. Babysitters are heroes. Like, let me put that on the table. They are lifesavers. So, yeah, if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, my mom helps a lot too. And my sister sometimes too. So, yeah, it's just, it takes a lot of coordination, but we have everything on the calendar and, just try to make it to as many as we can. And we also go to like the same few, like Issues Needed. We really try to get to that every set. And then also Foxden and VB those 3 are probably like the ones we try to get to the most, but try to sneak other ones in if we can.
Yeah, follow-up question.
Shout out Mom. So.
Yeah, follow-up question there so like VB being your more like local store that, you go play weekly at, like what for y'all has sort of said, hey, this is a store that I want to go back to? Like, what has differentiated the ones that you generally want to make it back to? Like Issues Needed, for example, it's not the closest store to you, but you generally really circle that, right? Like find out the date that is from, again, shouts to AJ on his spreadsheet that he puts out for the Minnesota community. But like how does that differentiate from maybe other locations where you're like, we got to make sure we make it to this one?
So VB, that's our local store, and we really, that's our local community that we play with every week, and even some others, come to the Set Champs, and it's just we just love the atmosphere there. It's a small town atmosphere, and we really like that. So we always go there. But Issues Needed, honestly, we really like the group of people that are there. Every time, I'm just like, we try to make it there because I'm excited to see all those people, because it's usually the only place I see those people in the same place, And honestly, same with Foxden, other than the fact that it's a really nice facility. The facility is great. It's got the cafe, so it's just nice to be able to eat while you're there, because you're there for so long with these things. But also Foxden, the group of people that's over there too, I do look forward to seeing. So
yeah. And I get excited to go to these places because it's like, in order to get better, you got to play like better people. You know what I mean? So if you're playing the same person over and over and over, you're just gonna like tech for their deck and always beat them. But when you have people, or always lose, yes. And you build relationships with these people, and like Nathaniel and Mac and Ryan, like we've all had deck talks. So it's like, you build a relationship with these people, and it's like, I can do this. You go about things a certain way, or a different way, I guess.
It's always fun to have those conversations when you're there with
it's
the people.
crazy because like it'd be cards or something you would never think about even playing, or like a deck combination that you wouldn't think works, but like I would have never thought about playing red purple until Nathaniel. It was nuts. But it's crazy how that you can build these relationships and build these friendships, and to these different stores and it just broadens from there. So
Yeah, I think so. A couple follow-ups to that. I totally agree that like it's been amazing to meet all these different groups of people that play throughout the Twin Cities Metro, and you do generally run into some different subsets of folks depending on kind of what probably quadrant of the Twin Cities that you're going to.
Yeah, it is.
But I think really cool those two stores in particular. I haven't personally been to VB. I've only heard amazing things. That's VB Games down in Northfield. But Fox Den Board Game Cafe in Burnsville, Minnesota, huge shout out to them. That store is really unique in the sense that it's absolutely gigantic in terms of like square footage. But they support Lorcana and other like, games and board games, but it's also a cafe. Like, and it's not just like a cafe where it's like, okay, yeah, you could get like, they got like a Keurig, right? Like it's
like food,
it's like actually food. Yeah, it's a really cool place that you could go to like for like a full day. So that place is awesome. That's actually where I saw Christian and Vo do some of their streaming, like their challenge. And I just saw all the board games that they had out there just to like support people who like games. So I think that place is really special. And Issues Needed Comics in Apple Valley, Minnesota is the one that Ernie generally helps facilitate that one just to make sure that the event runs smoothly. But a very different type of store, right? Because that one is much more of like
very much
feels a bit more like old school comic book store, but that also supports TCGs. But really friendly. People are always super nice there, and the community there is really very welcoming and nice group of people. And of course, if you ever play at an event there, Ernie's generally going to be playing, and he's really hard to beat.
Exactly.
I think this weekend was a perfect example of that. To your point, Jenna, with Issues Needed, it tends to bring the same crowd, but that same crowd tends to be really strong players. And that being Ernie and Christian shows up. We've seen Ernie's kids be there before, and he absolutely smashes it. I've never seen Ben there before, but Ben, shout out Ben, he ran the dogs list that ultimately took me out in top 4. And he won the event. I think he won back-to-back events that he had participated in.
I did get top 4 at Issues last set, so I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah,
especially
I mean that's a pretty good feat. Like it's all these players are strong. Anyone can do really well in any given day. So, one consistent one I think that we always see is Ernie ultimately always makes top 4. It's just a matter if he ends up making the finals in the champ mat. But that being said, it's a really fun group, and I think between rounds we always have this fun, playful banter. And to your point, Ron, about like talking about how to get better at the game or what decks we've been trying and what we've been interested in lately. We saw a couple of those decks. We saw Detectives, I think it was Sapphire Steel list, but then we saw just another random Christian brewed up deck that always tends to do good. So it's always a lot of fun, especially at that store. Other side note, Fox Den was the very first store I attended a set champs, and it was back in Ursula's Return. And I think there were like 32 players there when set champs were still bringing in a lot of people. Me and Connor went there saying like, hey, we could win a cool card. And then both of us, I think we're in the bottom like 6 players. We did not do well. That was our welcome to Lorcana moment, was that Fox Den place. But it is a great place. I think the only other location in Minnesota that might be bigger is Game Center. Other than that, Fox Den has a lot of space, and they tend to bring a really good crowd, and I was impressed with the facility as well. So, and we'll make it. Shout out Lance. We'll make it to VB one day. We owe him a visit down at VB for a set champs, and I know he's been wanting us to show up.
It's really fun. It really is.
And let's be honest too.
No, you guys can't come. I want some sort of chance at a map.
I mean, if we're being honest, Lance just wants us to come down there so he can collect more gems in his Infinity Gauntlet. He just likes taking us out.
That's true.
He does.
He does that to everybody.
Yes.
Me and his wife are good friends because he picks on both of us, and so we just ignore him. I'm just kidding.
Fair point.
So I'm curious, while we're on the topic of set champs, right? Like, Ron, you kind of touched on how you ran a couple different lists. You know, do you normally do you run kind of one list and you kind of run that back for most of set champs? Do you kind of mix it up depending on what you're seeing? Can you talk a little bit about like both of your decision making this set with like what you wanted to play and maybe what you ended up playing depending on maybe what seemed to perform well?
Okay, so I started off with my go-to, which was Blurple, and it didn't do me too well, and so you destroyed that, Nate, though. But no, it was fine. It was fine. But I did switch it up, but just because of what I was seeing, I was like, well, there's not much.
I think that he gave you his deck list, and you were like,
yep, I got Nathaniel's deck list, and I wanted to run that because it looked fun. He did great with it. And I just kind of wanted to run with it because it looked easy to navigate, and I was like, I can get behind this. And so I did run that. The first time I played it, I got 11. So
that was Foxed In.
That was Foxed In, so really hard. And that was the first time I ever played that deck. And then the next set champs after that, I played the same list and got second. Almost took it, really close. But I was playing a Blurple player, and he was really good. Guy from Seattle was just stopping down. They happened to come to set champs, and I was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" But
that was good though.
Yeah, and then after that, I played Blue Green. It ran fine. Then I played Blue Green again after that, and it didn't run quite as well as I wanted it to, and there was a couple other players playing Blue Green. Ernie, I couldn't get behind Mac. He was blowing me up every which way.
Also, I would like to say that the only reason he decided to play Blue Green was because I wanted to play Ruby Am, and we didn't have enough cards to make 2 Ruby Am decks.
Yeah,
so and he did do that for me.
End up playing it.
I did for 2 of them.
Okay.
Just not the last one.
True. But that was my list, and I'm happy how I played. I had fun. I wasn't bummed out on any of them. It was one event I was bummed out, but it wasn't the deck.
And also, but normally you do usually stick to one.
I usually do stick to one. I would try out another one maybe one time, but I usually tend to stick to Blurple, and it looks good Winter Spell, so we'll see.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, Jenna, how about you? I know you said you tried out a couple this set as well.
Same. It was super odd. Like both of us usually stay with one deck, the all set champs, and this time I also played 3 different ones. And honestly, it just kind of I had a really hard time narrowing down a deck this set champs. I don't know what it was. I was talking to like Felicia at VB about this too. I feel like this, and Lance probably, this meta is so many different things are good that it's hard to be like, oh, I want this one deck, or like I'm good at this one deck. I felt like so anyway, I got frustrated and I decided to go with none of those and play Amber Steel for the first one, which is my go-to. It was not a meta deck, but it was my comfortability. I did get third, Nathaniel, he kicked my butt, but I did end up getting third. So that was not too bad. And then Ron was talking about your deck, and I was like, that sounds fun. And like I think we talked about before, I decided the night before to play Ruby Am. So I did that for the next 3 tournaments, and I got 6th, 11th, and 3rd. And then the last one, I made a bad decision to play blue, yellow. So my aggro princess homebrew thing, that it's really fun, but it's not competitive. And I ended up getting 9th, and I still bubbled out, which is 9th is worse. It feels worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, we switched it up. This set champs was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was weird.
It was all over the place.
I think that's a great testament to just how varied the meta was this set anyways.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, everything seemed good. It seemed like any given day there could be that could run hot, and that player could run hot, and they would find their way to victory. And matchup spreads are what they are, and there's some favorables and some unfavorables, but on the whole, across the board, it felt like everything was relatively even-keeled. Maybe there were some 60-40 matchups in there, but for the most part, it seemed like any given deck could win on any given day. Other than yellow-purple, that deck's incredible. That deck destroys everything.
That one.
Yellow purple destroys everything.
should've.
I played in 2 set champs and I effectively got knocked out by yellow purple in both of them. It was and 2 different lists. I was
Really?
playing 2 different lists too. Yeah, it felt kind of bad, but it is what
Oh,
it is.
wow.
Yellow purple was a really strong list, and I didn't see it until it was too late, and it was staring me in the face. But yeah, just a testament to how broad and how diverse the meta was this time around,
Yes.
especially compared to Fabled. And I think we're gonna see even more of that, dare I say, in Winterspell. We'll see if anything is super broken. I think Matt gets to go back to his tried and true all-time favorite Ruby Sapphire. Maybe we'll see if he can make it work.
Maybe.
And I think there's
looking
there's
good.
plenty of other
I'm sure
great
Ron will
options out
default
there.
back to Blurple.
I mean, you got to start where the power is, right? I mean, Blurple's still going to be an incredible combination. You can't get
It is.
Yeah.
nothing wrong with ramping and taking cards off the board for free. That's great.
Yeah, just for nothing.
Yeah, it did feel like this set, I think, before we kind of shift into our next topic here, it did feel like Whispers was a great showcase into how you could kind of stretch Amethyst different directions. So the Ruby Amethyst list that we have kind of talked about, the power of that being a little bit more of like an aggressive, Amethyst list versus like this, Amber Amethyst being a little bit more of like a slower card advantage, style, and Blurple being the big bad that it has been now for a few sets, right? Like you could kind of stretch it a bunch of different ways, and Purple Steel was still really strong, right? Like I ran that.
Usual.
Yeah, like I ran that like a week or two before Set Champ started and had great success with it. So it's like, it kind of felt like, yes, there's a lot of similar cards in a lot of those lists, right? You think of the cats, the genies, the Elsas, right? But like, you could really stretch them kind of different directions depending on your play style. And Ron, it's cool to hear how like, you took the Ruby Am list, maybe didn't have like great success with it the first time out, but then we're like, hey, like let's run it back the next weekend and did almost get a mat with it. That's amazing.
Right.
So shouts to you for also like sticking with it, not being like, oh, this actually stinks. And being like, no, I think there's something to this list, and there was. And I think you nailed it too with just like the way that the list plays is pretty smooth. Like it, once you kind of get a sense for like, oh, I'm like kind of an aggressive player here. It's like, oh, I'm gonna like turn a lot of stuff sideways. Like that's a little different, I think, for a Blurple player. I was kind of telling Ryan that
It is.
as we were practicing. It was like, oh no, like you hit the gas pedal like pretty early with this. So that was a really fun list, and I'm glad that you got to see a really different take on Ruby Amethyst this set than what has historically been, I think, the identity of that deck.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So yeah. Okay, before we shift, any parting thoughts on Set Champs before we forget about it forever? Okay, cool. So I want to kind of circle back because we talked a little bit about like your channel and kind of what y'all do on there. But I think if we kind of take it even kind of before the decision to like create a channel, what really got you into Lorcana? Like obviously with the tattoos, you are definitely Disney stans. But like what about Lorcana? Like what piqued the interest to be like, hey, I think I'm going to be a TCG player now?
Yep. We're definitely, I am a Disney adult, and I just dragged him into it. So, yeah, we got our Hakuna Matata tattoos, which we love. So honestly, I kid you not, one day we were in Target and I saw Lorcana cards and I was like, what is that? I think I need it. So I bought a couple packs and opened them and I was like, yep, I need this, and I bought more. And I remember next time I bought like one little binder, to put them in, and we had like one little binder of cards, which seems hilarious at this point. But Ron actually came from Yu-Gi-Oh! Years ago. Yeah. So I have no previous TCG playing knowledge. He had Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I liked the Disney cards, and it just kind of snowballed from there. We started collecting and then opening on stream, and yeah, that's kind of where I fell into it.
What set was that?
Azurite.
Yeah.
Actually, he got us a case of Azurite for Christmas that year. That was our first case, for collecting.
Yeah, and I got into it. She was Disney, and I was like, well, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A few years ago, like way, way back. All the cards are banned that I used to play now, so that's how far back it is. This was probably high school. Yeah, I was like, I can get behind this. She likes Disney. I like trading card games. I think we can mesh. And we were trying to find stuff that, we can do together. Because it's hard when your spouse doesn't do the same hobby. The juggling is hard. I'm sure you guys realize that. Yeah, I think that's what snowballed it. Like she said, opening packs. We were recording them, posted a video.
And I don't even think we had planned on playing originally.
No,
it was just.
Yeah, it was just collecting at that point.
Pretty cards.
Yeah, yeah. She liked the cards, and I like what they do. And
I remember we played for the first time. We walked into BB for the first time, never having played, and there was the group that's there now that was there, and they let us sit with them, and they taught us how to play. And then we were there every weekend after that. I kid you not.
Those same faces are there today. Yep. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah.
I'm curious that VB weekly scene. How many players generally does it average there?
Yeah, so I'd say there's always at least 4, but normally up to 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Like we had the league night at our house the Friday because Bellamy, I just wanted to be able to like lay him down because he's crazy. But anyway, so everybody came here and we didn't actually do a tournament, but we did an 8-person multiplayer game in our basement here, and it was
wild.
It took 3.5 hours. It was hilarious and so much fun. So it was great.
I had if this any indication, I had 2 cards left in my deck.
His whole deck.
My whole deck. So it was wild. Yeah,
so much
fun. It
fun.
was a fun, wild night.
But yeah, anywhere from 6 to 10 on like a normal basis.
That's pretty incredible that the group there is tight knit enough where you could be like, hey, we're gonna host at like someone's house this week.
We just put it in the Discord.
That's special.
I was like, any chance it's okay if everybody's okay? We live like a mile and a half from the store.
Yeah.
So they're great.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, as somebody who has to drive 25 minutes to the nearest store, I'm really jealous of that.
Oh,
yes,
man.
we are very grateful. Yes,
that's really cool.
So with that, you said you got your start in. The first packs were around Azurite, or the release of Azurite. But then at the very top of the show, you also said that your TikTok started about a year ago, which was also Azurite. So it seems like it wasn't very long for you to just be like, we want to do a stream, we want to do a channel. So like maybe talk into like how it went from a couple packs to yes, let's do this, let's start a TikTok, and then from it's grown to where it is now, where you're trying to branch out into multiple platforms.
Yeah, it was extremely quick. It's funny that you picked up on that because I remember we streamed for the first time in December, and we started just before October, right? Because that's when Azurite was. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it had just kind of turned into, we want to open some packs online within like a month or two. It was not very long. And I always tell people in the stream, I'm so sorry. When people are like, oh, I'm getting into it, I'm so excited. I'm like, sorry to your wallet.
Yeah. But you're going to be happy.
And so it snowballed really quickly. So yeah, it was like October we started streaming December. And then I remember we had our first like battles in January.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It was literally so fast that you couldn't even remember like the week. Like that same case that we bought for Christmas was the same case that we used to do our first battle on live stream. Yeah. So that's how quick it was. Like the transition from us just opening a few packs to us streaming,
even if there was only like, 10 people max watching it, it was just stuff that we were doing. But I remember January being kind of like okay, this might be a thing.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about like because I'm sure you could see the numbers, right? Like the first stream, I think you'd mentioned that like before we kind of started recording tonight, that like there were like a couple people, right? And like how quickly did it start ballooning where like, I mean, now when you look, you guys have a few thousand followers. I mean, several thousand likes on the channel. I mean, it's definitely ballooned a ton in a year.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last 2 releases, we hit 2 million likes on our release night, I think. So that was pretty cool. And just we're like 40 followers away from 3,000 followers. Yeah. But yeah, it was right away. Again, I remember just, single digits people watching. Yeah. But it was so funny too, because some of those same people that were watching in single digits, they're still here. They're our mods. Like they are still here. We talk to them every time. Like they're our friends. And they helped us fill our first few battles and things like that. But yeah, it really just started right around then.
And the funny thing is, we had a couple other creators approach us like, hey, we'll hop in battles with you, try to get you filled, try to pump you up. Just stick with it. They were telling us how to, navigate TikTok and how they do things and how they set up the shop. And
shout out to Labyrinth Hero.
Yeah, Labyrinth Hero on TikTok. Yeah, and it just like went from there, and we're still friends with them. We still talk to them. So yeah, it snowballed really quick.
Yeah, and also I remembered somebody saying like, even there's, even if there's only a few follower or viewers, just keep going, and that kind of stuck in my head. And honestly, we were just having fun. Like we were just on live having fun with our friends on the other side of the screen. It was just a fun time. It still is.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the community, the relationships you build with people, all that stuff. The product is just a mere vehicle, to bring everybody together. Otherwise, without all that other stuff, it'd be dead in the water.
It's really cool to hear kind of origin stories and also just hear about how quickly y'all gained this massive following. 2 million likes on a single stream is unbelievable to me. So kudos for 2 times in a row hitting that mark.
It's crazy.
What would you say? And one of the things I'm most curious about whenever I talk to anybody that's doing something really cool, really unique, is trying to pick their brain about what's the most surprising thing that they've encountered in the last 12 months that you've been doing this. So that's my question to y'all. What is the most surprising? What's been the most surprising part of the TikTok streams or just the general Lorcana community that you've experienced?
I mean, kind of along the same. I think he has got a little more on this, but kind of along the same lines as earlier is just how incredibly welcoming the community is. I mean, and I know that again, probably sound like a broken record, but when we didn't really know what to expect going into this, when we started streaming or just walked into a game store. And I was so surprised to see how welcoming the community was, and then how long we've had some people that are still, a part of our everyday lives over the stream, or over Discord or whatever platform. And to still have those people in our lives, I think is really cool. I was also really surprised that I was so comfortable streaming. I mean, it took a minute, but like for the most part, like I said before, if you would have told me I was going to be a streamer 2 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy, but I was a lot more comfortable with it than I had thought. And so that also surprised me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like I said, community is everything. It's huge. You can't do anything without your community. And, I feel like we give like a sense of engagement, entertainment, just your cliche, belonging.
And also like we watch other rip and ships too that are just strictly rip and ships, and like not that they're bad or anything, just like don't interact as much with like the chat and stuff. And like people have asked if I want this to get bigger and to do this full time, and I don't think I would want to. Like I would like I still want to be able to interact with the everybody in the stream and in the Discord. Like I want it to be small enough where like it's personal. If that makes sense.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't know that, so I like that. I think that's different. I think that's why people like it a lot.
Yeah, I think as somebody who's been on the stream before and kind of observed and followed along with, it is genuinely really fun, and it is really cool to like have the back and forth with you like while you're doing the battles or doing the openings, or there's a lot of different like variation that keeps it really fun and exciting. But I think it is special that you continue to like be really engaged with the audience and not kind of treat it as just like we're just churning stuff out.
Right, exactly. Right. Which I never wanted to feel like that, because we're definitely not. We're having just as much fun as everybody else. Yeah. And I also think people like that it's us doing it together too.
Yeah. And another thing about that is like, so the way TikTok operates is we'll start filling the battle or something, and then TikTok wants us to ship right away. Sometimes the battles won't fill all the way, so we would have to feel obligated to like, hey, these, can we fill these, or or we gotta like refund people or like things like that. But now that we got our website, we can just like wait and casually fill these battles, and
more flexibility.
There's more flexibility. We can just talk on live, with this going on. We don't have to feel that sense of a rush, so.
Because I don't like feeling like we have to fill this, It's nice to be a little bit more laid back.
Yeah. So the laid back, now that that's open, I think it's going to change a lot. It's going to be a lot more comfortable for viewers and us. So that's a huge thing for us.
Yeah. So can you
That's
you guys
awesome.
also just do another clarification point too, just for folks who aren't as familiar with this, right? Like, if I were to come on like during a live stream, right? Like, what are the things that would be available to me as a viewer that I could like how I would engage and the way that I'm going to be entertained? Like, can you get like when we say battles, right? Like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, definitely. I know I forget. Sometimes I use all the terms and forget that not everybody knows everything. So, okay, so if you're on the stream, of course, there's always stuff that you can do, just chatting and subscribing and sending the little gifts and the little things.
Little
that's
emojis.
always that's always fun for them to do. Also, we have emojis, Disney emojis, that when you put them in the chat, they make the sounds that we assign to them. So they make the whatever the person. Baymax does the, and it's just, anyway.
And like, hey, does it scream?
Hey does it scream.
You send the hey-heys.
Yeah,
yelling,
so that's always fun. I mean, some people just like, interacting that way.
Right.
But then if you want to get in on battles or anything opened on the live, we have a pack battle, which is an opening of one entire booster box, which is 24 packs. There's 6 spots in each one. So everybody ends up with 4 packs, and whoever pulls the highest value card wins and gets an extra pack. That's a battle, which is a little less common on streams. Some other people do them, but not as much as you do color breaks, where similar concept. Open a whole booster box and everybody buys a color, and then you get all the cards of whatever color you bought. So those are the 2 different like battle style things that are available. We do sell single packs as well. Of most of them, first chapter and stuff is hard to get, so not usually those. But we also do battles that include all 10 sets. They're huge. We don't do them super often, but maybe once every week or 2. So it's one spot gets you 10 packs, one from first chapter all the way through Whispers. We open 60 packs, and whoever pulls the highest value card wins. And usually that's a bigger prize, like a trove
or an enchanted,
something like that.
Yeah, we've had a guy pull an enchanted from the battle. Yeah. And we offered an enchanted he won. And we offered him an enchanted, and he took that. So he got out of there with so many packs, 2 enchanteds,
We've had somebody win
stuff.
with an enchanted and then also pull an enchanted out of their winner's pack too. We've had that.
Yes, out of the winner's pack. Yeah.
So that's pretty much what's on the shop. We have like merch, we have tumblers and keychains and playmats, super cool playmats. That's on the website as well. So but you can also get that through the lives and stuff. What else am I missing? Giveaways. Oh yeah, we do them every 50,000 likes. We do a giveaway, and it's usually anywhere from promos to buttons to
playmats, starter decks. Oh, sleeves. Speaking of starter decks, we opened a givey.
We gave a
for one of our followers. First chapter starter deck
pack.
Pulled an enchanted Elsa
out of the starter deck pack. And we gave it was a giveaway.
It was a giveaway. So we gave it to him. Yep.
That is unreal.
Dead serious.
Unreal. That's the video that's on our page.
That's the video. It's pinned on our page. Yep.
Okay, so you conveniently left out the fact that this was from a starter deck. You pulled an enchanted Elsa out of a starter deck. You were telling me the story before we started recording. That escalates the like incredulousness of this like tenfold, because
doesn't it? It was the most insane.
It's crazy.
The way that I got into the game was Christmas time, and my in-laws bought me one of those first chapter starter. Like they had 2 starter decks and 4 packs or 6 packs inside of it or whatever from Target in 2024, winter 24. And out of that, one of the starter decks had an enchanted genie in it. And that was like the first, in the first like 20 packs that I ever opened, and it was coming out of a starter deck. And I think that's absolutely diabolical out of Ravensburger to like my tinfoil hat time. I think they increased the pull rate of enchanteds out of starter decks just to get people hooked, or at least they did. And so I think that's incredible. Also, the fact that it's enchanted Elsa, wow, my mind is blown, absolutely blown.
Yeah,
it was
crazy.
It was crazy. We've been doing this at that point a year. And how many thousands of packs have we opened? Yeah. That's how long it took to open an Elsa. And it was out of a starter deck pack. It was just crazy. And you can watch the video, but the first card, or when I did put the 4 cards to the back, like I always do, the Elsa was upside down.
It was upside down.
And so I said, is that good luck? before I opened it. And sure enough, it was a freaking Elsa.
Yep. Yep.
So funny.
That is so cool. So speaking of famous women in this TCG, with Elsa being kind of the primo one in this one. Jenna, we'd love to hear a little bit about your perspective, right, as a female player in a largely, male dominated hobby. So maybe talk a little bit about like how you've been approached. Like obviously VB, super welcoming community, and right from the jump you were very much accepted, both of you, as new players. But also maybe like how has it been kind of navigating this as a Disney adult that is being welcomed into something that's Disney but also not totally the Disney world.
And I'd like to jump into after you answer, Jenna. I think this is a perfect time to kind of do 2 in 1. Ron, you come from another TCG, and after Jenna, maybe explain kind of the biggest differences that you've seen between what you experienced previously with Yu-Gi-Oh! And then what you see in kind of the Lorcana scene, if there are differences, and then thinking back on your Yu-Gi-Oh! Days, I think that will provide a lot of perspective to our listeners as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think, I mean, obviously it is a male-dominated game, but I do think we have a really decent female population of players here specifically. I know it's not that way everywhere, but I think we have a pretty good group of them here. And to be honest, personally, I haven't, it's been a great experience. I haven't felt really like not welcome, because I'm a girl and stuff. Maybe a couple times not taken as seriously, like in a game, you just because I don't know, just didn't realize that I'm better than they thought I was, or something like that. But like for the most part, I really haven't felt unwelcome or anything like that. And, what was not Foxton, Sliver King, Hastings, last set, 2 of us girls got top 4, which was super cool. Me and Jairus, and that was really fun. We felt pretty good about that because I think we were the only 2 girls there, I think. And so it's nice to see that. It's nice to see the girls up there, but like I said, I feel like we have a pretty decent amount of them. So
yeah, I feel like it's not really uncommon to have a female opponent nowadays.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Like at DLC, probably 3 out of my 7 were female.
Yeah.
So it's from my eyes, I don't think it's necessarily male dominated. I think it's definitely a 80-20, 70-30 things, but
I'm a little bit competitive though. So
yeah.
So I like to show them that I'm good.
There you go.
There's no greater satisfaction than overachieving against someone else's under expectations. That's for sure.
So funny story actually, Jenna. The first time I met you in person was at Issues Needed. Yep. And you were wearing like Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse ears.
I was.
And sat down against you like first round. And I remember when you just like started slamming characters down. And I think you like docked into another dock, and I was like, like this is scary, and like I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Yeah. So it was like I was like, oh gosh, like. So it was intense, and I was like, okay, like, and you were making like great decisions. Like it was like, okay, she's really good. So that was like cool to see that like you were having fun. Like,
yeah,
wear the Minnie Mouse ears, wear the ears, like have fun with this, but like you could still also be really good. And like,
right.
And I think it's just an important lesson too, as like if you are a really competitive person, like you don't really know who's sitting in front of you until the cards start coming down. Yeah. And like you might be surprised. So like don't judge a book by its cover. Like, just because I
wear the mini ears to throw everybody off. That's what I do. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well I mean for what it's worth, like, it could be mini ears, it could be, somebody who, has highlighted hair and a ducktail dad shirt on, right? Like you never know, like I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying you never know who it could be, right? And like, what their
by the way, I think I won 1 game, right? Of our 3, I think I won 1.
Yeah,
so
you did.
Okay, all right. I'm not crazy.
All right.
Good. Yeah, it was.
So I'll shoot back to what Max said about the differences between Yu-Gi-Oh. So when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, there was no LGSs. There was no local game stores. So we were meeting at McDonald's. I'm not trying to age myself here, which I'm doing perfectly, but we would meet at McDonald's, all, sit at the McDonald's and play tournaments. Like we would write down on paper and, they would have the little thing cut off for us, the little play area or whatever they used to call it. But, yeah, we would just meet there. We would meet at different other restaurants. Sometime in the school cafeteria, we'll do it. Like we had to improvise. So, being now that there's so many LGSs now that you can go almost to any town and, walk in and they might not have Lorcana, but it's a LGS, So, it just makes that much of a difference where all this stuff is available now that it's available to people, it's so great. And it's so, like, looking back on it, I don't think Lorcana would have survived back then, so that's what I got on that take.
I think that's a great opportunity for us to like acknowledge how lucky we are, right? And like to have those and plenty of them, at least in our area. So like for those who are out there listening, like definitely do what you can to support those local game stores and the community that they are basically promoting. Usually at not like a huge like profit for them. I've noticed a lot of the TCG, like the local game stores in our areas, from a TCG perspective, right? They're like usually making maybe a little bit more on just like selling sealed product, but the actual like events themselves are usually just like a tiny profit, or it's like they're operating at just break even and like give players a space to play at, which is really generous of them to be able to like offer that up for us, and we're really lucky to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ron, can you even imagine someone from Seattle flying into Minneapolis and then just like hitting a tournament back when you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh? That would not happen because you wouldn't be plugged into the community to know where it was happening. But now you can do that. You can fly wherever you want. You can be in Texas and all of a sudden, you know what? It's a weekend. I bet there's a set champs happening. Let's go find one. Probably 2 blocks away from you wherever you end up. So I think that's really incredible to hear that kind of, the growth of just game stores in general, and then also this is the perfect environment for Lorcana to really like take full advantage of this accessibility that the game stores provide that we didn't have, that players didn't have back when you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh or when other people were playing other TCGs prior to coming to Lorcana.
Yeah, for sure. It's very eye opening. And I like really hope it thrives. Like a lot of, you get a lot of feedback online and stuff, go back and forth. Like, oh, Lorcana's going to blow up. Oh, Lorcana's a dead game. No, I think it's going to thrive. And, I think it's going to be up there with the Magic. So, but that's my take. I could be naive. I could be a whisperer, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, but nice pun. I do think that you're spot on. That I think I think Ravensburg even just released some sort of like earnings report or some update or memo or something like that got leaked online maybe. But I saw something that said that yes, there was this massive hype at the beginning. Yes, sales may have fallen off recently, but we're like stabilizing as a key component of Ravensburger's like business vision. The Disney Lorcana space is stabilizing as this like pillar of business operations. Because there's this constant demand. And I think if anyone's ever tried to attend a DLC, you will 100% be slapped in the face with how popular this game is, because it is next to impossible to get a ticket into either attendee, like just to attend, or to actually compete in the main event at a DLC. Even when they have 2,000 player pools, and when they're now, hopefully they expand in the next season of DLCs in North America to even now 4,000 player pools, which is just a massive number in my mind, to have 4,000 people in the same exact exhibit hall playing the same game at the same time, and just how eerily quiet the first 5 minutes of round 1 are going to get, just from the experience of Milwaukee.
People was insane.
Yeah, it was like this huge hustle and bustle, and everybody's clamoring around, and all this noise as everyone's trying to find their seat, and then dead silence as everyone starts their games, and it's just like, whoa, that was wild. The like pitch change there.
Some people will come into the live and say, "Oh, Lorcana is a dead game," and I'm like,
"Okay,
okay."
Yeah.
Disagree?
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah,
no, I disagree. one thing that obviously Ducktail dads are part of what we always chat about, and it's a very real part of our lives, is balancing this hobby and this incredible community and fun atmosphere and fun game with responsibilities of being parents. And so y'all are both highly competitive. Y'all are both very active in the community. How do y'all find that balance between, being very present parents and giving your all to your kids, and also maintaining this community and the relationships in it, and your skills at the game? So how do you balance, parenting and Lorcana, as you're both trying to stay engaged with the game too?
I'll let Jenna take all of this one because I do not juggle well, and she is, the light of my sky. So it's
Listen.
Yeah.
So a lot of different parts go into it. I work a lot. I work pretty late and sometimes, and so he picks up a lot of the house stuff, which is just so incredibly helpful. And then that gives more time for us on the weekends to be able to play and do this together. We also, the girls, we have 2 girls. They are 9 and 14, and they play sometimes. They're not as into it as us, but they will play. So sometimes it's nice to just sit and play a family game of Lorcana, and we try to be able to do this with them as well. But as far as being able to play separately from the kids and stuff and balance that, really, I mean, my mom is so helpful with watching the kids for all of our events and even just play on the weekends and stuff. But really, it's just trying to, I really think it helps that, our hobby is the same hobby, right? I mean, as you guys know, it's really hard when one plays and one doesn't. And it's so much easier and easier to plan around when we're both interested in the same thing. So, I mean, us doing this hobby could just be us at home, with the kids around doing whatever, and we're chatting about decks or deciding to test a couple things randomly in the kitchen. It's just really a lot of what we do is just also in our everyday life, But yeah, our Lorcana nights are Fridays. So we do most of the time play every Friday, at least for a couple hours.
I think it's really awesome that it's kind of integrated into your relationship too, and the fact that most people are trying to fight for some sort of weekly consistent date night for them and their spouse, and this is just a very easy connection point for y'all, since y'all are both interested in it.
These are our date nights.
This is our date night. Yeah, we're just gonna do this and go to the game store and hang out with our friends too, or just hang out at home and do your own thing. You did mention your mom, Jenna, and I think we would be remiss if we went the entire episode without mentioning your sister and giving a shout out to Brina for being a huge support.
My sister! Hi, Brina.
And a great
She's
follower
a
and fan
Ducktail
of
Dad.
our podcast too.
She is a Ducktail Dads fanatic. So she played with us at Bunker, by the way. Our first set champs this season was Bunker, which is her home store. And she played with us. She did phenomenal. She got 6th. This is only her second set champs ever playing. Set season. And anyway.
Yeah, we keep talking about you guys reaching this year point, and now that I'm thinking about it, we're getting close to that. And you mentioning Brina, we've had a couple of these welcome to the podcasting stage, so to speak. One of them, a couple were the first DMs we got from people not from our area. We got a couple people from Sweden and Australia messaging us saying hey, we listen to you guys on a weekly. We really like what you do. But I think the biggest one, and the first and biggest one to me, was Brina walking up to us at the 2nd year anniversary event and being I listen to you. It's so glad to meet you. That was kind of a shock.
I totally had to drag her up there too.
Very humbling. You did drag her, yes, because we had met you already at that point.
Yes,
It was very humbling, but it was fun to see that I don't know, first time in person walking up saying, hey, I listen to you and you guys are good and we enjoy it. So that's
awesome.
That was very heartwarming.
We had our first encounter with that at the DLC.
Yeah.
Where somebody we didn't know, many people we didn't know came up to us and were like, you're on TikTok, are you? Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. The DLC
in the best
too.
way.
I
In
think
the
that was
best
us
way.
too. It was like
Yeah.
Milwaukee. We had this dad and this kid. I mean, and I think you kind of share the same dynamic with your audience. Like, we're casual players. We like to be competitive. We want to scratch that competitive itch when we do the set champs or maybe try something fun
Right.
locally, right? But kind of like, we're not like DKP, right? We're like
Yeah.
not like uber competitive. We want to do well. And we're trying to, attract those listeners to our, for our audience. And we had a dad and kid come up, and that was like, whoa, our reach is now like to 10-year-old kids too. And they're actually like listening. So that was like very eye-opening and humbling as well, that our reach extended beyond that. The DLC was an experience for sure, and I saw you guys walking around and meeting everyone as well. I'm sure you kind of had the shock value that we had, seeing everyone, or at least seeing a couple people come up to us in person and talking about what it was. And I did want to get into that before we get into the last topic, which is Winterspell. Like, talk about your like DLC experience. Like, that was what an insane event. It's
Oh my gosh.
by far the biggest event either of us have been to.
Oh
So
yes.
you can choose gameplay or kind of the reach you had for your channel. How was that whole experience for you?
Did any of you guys go to Richmond at all?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah, we didn't either. We're going to Indianapolis, but so yes, we went to Milwaukee in October, which was actually over Ron and Bellamy's birthday. So it was fun.
Birthday present.
Yeah. It was so cool. We met so many people that we met through the stream, and people, a few of them just came like running up to me and gave me a big hug. And I had to remind people on the stream, like, we knew we were going to meet so many people, but I had to remind people, like, I don't always know what you look like. So, so when you come running up to me and I don't know who you are, I'm so sorry. Just tell me, just right away, tell me who you are, because I'll be thrilled. But, and so that was kind of an adjustment, but super fun. And it was a great experience. There were so many more people than I thought. I mean, it's just like huge. You mentioned earlier, sitting and watching 2,000 people sit down at these tables and play is surreal. It's just a sea of people. And we handed out a lot of goodies. We brought like keychains and, business cards and stickers. You guys did too. And we, handed out a lot of that stuff. And we got signatures on playmats, which was amazing.
Yeah, it's huge.
And then really our only goal, my goal going into it was to get the Simba mat. That was the only thing and then wanted to just get 3 wins in the day one. Yeah. Which I did. So that was good. Got 3 wins on day one, and then played, I think we only played 1 round of the Infinity the next day. And then we had to really grind to get enough tickets for that playmat. We did get it, and she's beautiful, but it was a lot. So overall, great experience. I mean, of course, some things I felt like it could have ran a little bit better, but I heard, and I don't know if you guys heard the same, that in Richmond, people felt like it ran a little bit better. I think there were some, still some complaints, of course, but like overall, the feedback that I was hearing was that it went better. And then I played Amber Steel all weekend, and I went, was it 3 and 5, 8 rounds, right? Yeah, 3 and 5. It was so listen, we're not talking about it, Mac. We're not talking about it, because my, I think, what was it, round 4? No, 5 maybe. I don't know, but 2. Okay. Well, yeah, it was, he kicked my butt with a bunch of Sisus.
Oof.
It was, yeah. So anyway, it was good. Overall, it was really good, and I'll let Ron talk more about the play, but yeah.
Yeah, I did not do too well. So I did not make it to day 2 whatsoever.
Well, neither did I. So
yeah, I went 1 and 7.
Yeah.
With Blurple, and I did a lot of teching, which was that's what killed me. I teched for a lot of aggro because aggro was prominent at that point, and I didn't see not one. 5 of my 7 games were Blurple mirror matches. So, yep, it was rough. And we knew that going into it, because I think the previous DLC had I don't know, it was like 60% Blurple or something. Yeah, it was nuts. But I had a blast though. I wouldn't trade it for the world. A lot of grinding for the mat. No, it was fun.
It was. We had to wait in line for the pack rushes like 11 times.
Yeah.
And the lines were like an hour each. And it was so crazy. So I think that was a little bit much. I actually already got the Mulan playmat from somebody because in Indianapolis, I want to enjoy day 2 and not have to grind for it.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah.
But overall, a great experience. I cannot wait to go again.
Yep. We're just going to be trying to get some pins and some promos.
Yeah.
Just enjoy ourselves this time instead of just, hitting the grind.
And I think it's Infinity too.
It's Infinity.
Yeah.
So it's going to be some
I keep telling people
players.
that I'm going to play, which I know some people don't tell what they're going to play. I don't care. I keep telling people I'm going to play Amber Steel because having Piglet and Nala in the same deck feels super illegal.
Yeah, just broken.
And Tiana.
Yeah, that deck is going to be insane, I think, in the Infinity format. So, But with that being said, looking forward, Winter Spell is right around the corner.
Yes.
So now that we're getting quite long into the pod, so I figured we'd kind of do a rapid fire, not only for you, but we'll start with you, and we'll get into Nathaniel and Ryan's takes too. What deck are you excited to run, and what 1 or 2 cards that have been revealed to this point are you excited to try out? So let's start with that. Jenna and Ron, why don't you start with that question?
I am excited again for Ruby Amethyst, actually. I think I'm going to stick with that for the moment. I know. I'm also excited for Amber Steel, though, because there are some cool Amber cards that I think might breathe some life back into Amber Steel. So I will certainly try that as well. I am an Amber Steel player at heart, but I see some really great purple cards coming out, along with a couple red ones. So I really like that Anna combo with the Shift 0. You can shift her onto the 2-drop and basically get lore equal to a card to character in your discard. So I think that might be pretty cool. And then also there was the Pocahontas. The Pocahontas that's like trading the Donald Duck, the 3-drop inkable, and she gives extra lore on play. I miss Donald Duck in my Amber Steel, so I think she might come in handy. And the Amber card drop, but
yeah. So the cards I'm excited about is the new Red Elsa. She looks pretty crazy. I think locations are going to try to make a comeback. Ryan was talking. He said it's a little bit of a trap, but we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna definitely fall into that trap. But I've always wanted Ruby Steel to work since Azurite.
Yeah,
but it just never.
He keeps saying
it
it's
never
gonna
has
work
enough.
this set.
Yeah, it's gonna work this set. It's gonna work this set. But right now it's looking good. But I'm not gonna be naive. But I'm gonna probably play Blurple. Competitively. Just stick with it, just because it's a lot of cards that look really good. So I gotta. That's my go-to. I gotta stick with it.
Sorry, and the 4-drop uninkable Maui Rush. That one, red. Okay.
I will jump in and I will raise you. I see your 4-drop uninkable Maui with Rush, and I will raise you a 6-drop inkable Copper with Rush.
Cooper?
That is an 8/6, which
Copper,
is
Yes.
unreal. And that card
I have it
alone
right here.
existing, Ron, is the reason why I feel like locations is a bit of a trap, because Copper is just going to gobble up every single location you put on the field.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not.
That's true.
I feel bad about it, but it's going to happen because he can clear everything in one hit.
Yeah.
And if you play a purple list, they're going to be running Monstro, and it's going to swallow them up then too. The cards that I'm really excited about, a couple of purple cards. The 5-cost uninkable Terran, 5/5 with Rush, and you return 2 cards from a player's discard to their deck. I think that is Blurple's bane of Blurple's existence has been dogs the last 2 sets. And I think Terran is a direct answer to a dogs list, because you're taking away their discard pile, which is effectively like a draw pile with their big lady, and then you're rushing into something too, so that's impacting the board. And then the Marshmallow, the 5-cost uninkable Marshmallow, that would just the name alone is worthy of play, and then the effect is such a good combination into on curve playing Demona after that, and then just handcuffing the opponent's board entirely. I feel like all Amber Steel players are going to hate the Blurple player when that happens. And also, even like in a mirror match, that's really powerful to be like, okay, you can choose one of your characters to do something with next turn, and otherwise nothing else can ready. And then if you they ready one character, they don't do anything because they're going to ready another one to like sing together or something. Like, oh, sorry, but I have Elsa now, so you still only get to ready one single character. I think that's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of pain to navigate in a play setting. So those are two that I'm really excited about in purple. So I'll play something purple probably because I like drawing cards, and that's usually what I enjoy doing to play games. But also, I'm going to steal a little bit of Mac's thunder and then throw it back to Mac before we get to Nathaniel's picks, because I think Nathaniel's picks are about 18 picks deep. But I think Red Blue, Ruby Sapphire. I do think that Ruby Sapphire, it might have life. They've printed a lot of strong Ruby cards that can fill some really big holes that the traditional Ruby Sapphire list lost in rotation. And there is this like board wipe option with the big Wreck-It Ralph that's there, and there's some ways to get it to trigger when you play it. It takes a little more setup, so it'll be a little bit more combo-y, but I think that's important for a big control deck to have that level of combo necessary to like really
I was gonna say that's what
show
Ruby
skill
Saph
expression.
does.
Yeah. It's not just like, oh, I'm at 7 inks and now I get to win because I can clear your board at any point. It's a little bit more setup and there's a little bit more counterplay there. That being said, I think we're still waiting on some sort of traditional board wipe to be revealed, and I think whatever that is will only add to the potential for a Ruby Sapphire list to find success. And so with Cinderella being printed, now it's really easy to get to Maui very early. And so I think Maui Half Shark makes a comeback and becomes an issue that people have to deal with. And then it's what do you do after Maui, right? Everyone has an answer to Maui now, so now it's what do we do after Maui? And I think that the new version of Red Blue has a lot of options to do things after Maui that they didn't have in sets 9 or sets 10. So anything purple, basically, I'm excited about, and then Red Blue, I think I'm going to try to make it work and make it a comeback. Mac, what are your thoughts?
Oh, the ocean is crystal blue, and the shark sees red. Red Blue for life. Let's go. I am so excited for Ruby Sapphire this set. Especially now that this is like a day or so after they had announced the Marching Off to Battle song, the Ruby song that once saying if a character was banished this turn, draw 2 cards. I think with Ruby Sap after Hiram, that was the thing. Where's the card draw? Or and how are we going to substitute what Hiram was able to provide into Ruby Sapphire now? To your point about Cinderella, we had the first step in ramp on turn 3 with a 4-cost card, and now we conveniently have an inkable 4-cost song for her to sing the next turn. Yes, Maui Half Shark, my favorite card in the game. Recycling those actions, gaining lore off of actions, then building up to Maleficent Dragon or Hades. Like, that's ultimately the goal of what Ruby Sapphire is. But I think the first couple things that I've thought of is, along with this card draw card, is the new Moana we touched a little bit on last week. It's a princess, so you're utilizing that Cinderella ramp effect. And I think the Headless Horseman from last set goes really well in conjunction with this Marching Off to Battle card. You play Cinderella on turn 3. You play the Horseman the next turn, holding off on your shark, banish something with the Horseman, and then you can sing this Marching Off to Battle with the Cinderella to draw 2 cards. That's kind of ultimately what I'm thinking about now. And then getting into your Hades, Maleficent Dragon, and your Half Sharks, and taking over the game with those just big characters. That's what I'm most excited about to try out. Ron, to your point,
grab your bow.
Grab your bow too. Is that the big strength one as well?
It's the one that banishes up to 2 chosen characters with 2 strength or less.
Exactly. Yeah. So at first, when they started releasing these, like, all of the somewhat good Ruby cards all seem to be uninkable. So I think this Marching Off to Battle song is a breath of fresh air that it's inkable. Especially when paired with the Horseman or Cinderella, which are already uninkable cards, right? But to Ron's point about locations and Elsa, I think Elsa will be in the category of it might not be good now, because I don't know if there's enough viable locations yet.
Yeah,
but a set or 2 from now, as more locations are released, I think this is the card that people will look back on in a couple sets and be like, oh dang, this card is actually really good with all these new locations now. So that's something that I keeping my eye on with that too, with the Elsa Ruby Legendary that was announced. Nathaniel, what about you?
I will start with the ones for the lore, and then the ones that I think will be fun competitively. The first is going to be the Elisa Maza transformed gargoyle. And that is because I just watched that episode of Gargoyles, and just, she is amazing. She's a queen. I love her. She's fantastic. And seeing her in gargoyle form is very cool. I love it for the lore. The other one that I think is just funny is Pudge.
Oh, Pudge! I saw that.
So
oh my gosh.
Pudge is a 2-cost inkable. If you have a character named Lilo in play, you can play this character for free. So like, there's just this funny play where like you play Lilo on one, and then you play 4 Pudges on one.
Yes,
just like win the game.
Yeah. Yep.
So like, that's just like funny. You know, I don't know if that actually ends up ever doing anything, but I think there's just like fun looking Amber stuff in this set.
Yeah.
Like I think we talked about the angel being this like cool on the draw card, and now they've released this song Akud et Emuti. I probably butchered that, but it's that you get to pay 2 less ink for your next character, and you get a draw card. I think that the important part there is like, this could have some replacement for like Lantern decks, right? Where like you still get to cheat something out, but then you get to like replace the card too, which I like. That was a big value point for a card like Horseman Strikes in the last set, where it's like it got to do something powerful and draw a card. This feels kind of like that in a way. So, you know, you could cheat out like a, you know, in a purple yellow list, you could cheat out a genie on like super early, right? So turn two genie if you're on the draw. Yeah. So
Wow.
that seems kind of busted, right? Yeah, because you'd play the angel on 1 because you're the on the draw player, and then you'd sing this on turn 2 and then pay 2 ink to play a genie draw card. Like, that's so good. So that sounds like a fun play line. I think I'll admit, right, that I sometimes get caught in some of the fantasy land of like, this would be amazing, right? If you could do this, right? And then, you know, you try it out and you get 3 of these in your hand and you're stuck with uninkables that you can't actually use, and that feels terrible. So I think there's some really fun looking cards, and I think I would just echo the point that y'all have all basically said is like, it looks like more ink combinations are going to become relevant. It might not just be a bunch of purple things, and then maybe the things that like counter purple well. It could be like a little bit even more diverse, which is exciting, because I did feel like Whispers did have a good amount of deck diversity, and that's very healthy, I think, for the game, and we want to make our resident red-blue player happy. So if that can have some power, I think we're all a little bit happy.
I would like to say 2 things really quick. That it is sad how much I'm going to spend on that iconic Pocahontas. I'm sorry. Second, I need the Tinkerbell promo from the Winter Spell set champs. That's all.
that promo looks so good. It looks so good.
Yep.
Regardless of the fact that I think
excited.
the card is unplayable, in a competitive sense, I do think the art is next level. I am going to try to get as many of those as possible because it is unreal. And imagine how good it'll look on a playmat. Oh, I'm excited.
I was just gonna say, I can't even imagine the playmat. Phenomenal.
Nathaniel, I wanted to touch on a couple of things that you mentioned with the Pudge lines. I think could be just ridiculous, where you play as many Pudges as possible, and then you play a Gantu to discard like a Big Mickey or something like that. And then you have all those Pudges sing together Circle of Life to bring the Big Mickey back. In, you know, perfect world Fantasyland, that is, like, who's going to beat you? That's really fun. I just thought that was really, I think that'd be really cool. I think the Pudge singing aspect is something that I'll be interested to see, to follow along as the set develops.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ryan, that I didn't really consider. The fact that, like, if you're cheating out a bunch of 2-cost things, that like if you had some sing-togethers in your deck, that actually becomes kind of scary. Like you think about like cheating out all these Pudges and like blowing up like a dog's thing with Under the Sea now, like super early, like before they're gonna expect it, maybe even. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that Pudge would potentially contribute to singing, that little fish.
Jenna, think about putting Mob Song in your next deck. How about that?
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Great. That's lethal.
Yeah. Well, hey, you guys, I gotta say, I think I speak on behalf of all three of the Ducktail dads. We so appreciate you lending us a night to talk with three dads about this amazing game that we share a passion for, and we look forward to hearing more and following more about your journey as streamers and everything that you're doing in the Love and Lorcana space. Definitely your opportunity now. Shout out anything you want, plug whatever you want. We will make sure to include the link to your channel in the episode description. So for listeners out there, you will be able to find it there. Also potentially look out for a social media post as well with that link.
Yeah, we so we stream over on TikTok. All of our handles are the same over there, Love and Lorcana. We do have in the link that they're going to post is the beacon link. It gives you all the links to all of our different platforms that we're on. We are going to start to branch out outside of TikTok as well soon here, so make sure to follow us on all of them. And yeah, it was so much fun. We always love talking Lorcana with you guys, especially when we run into in person, and it's so much fun. And it's just something we all love doing and are passionate about. And yeah, I know I speak for both of us when we say how appreciative we are. So
yeah, it's been really great being on, and like I've always been a fan. When I listen, I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Like, oh, how they do that, and it's just for it to come to fruition. Like, it's crazy. Like, it just feels. I don't know how to explain it. It's good. It's good. It's a good feeling.
Well, again, we really appreciate y'all coming on. So again, for listeners, you can find Jenna and Ron on Love and Lorcana. They stream quite frequently throughout the week. So what's the usual nights that you guys are
I should
available?
probably say that. So our streaming schedule is Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Yeah. So
and what time usually?
8:30 p.m. Central Time. And then also we have a really great community on Discord too. And people are in there all the time. We also do tournaments on Discord every couple of weekends, and sometimes they're like fun themed ones. Sometimes they're prep, before set champs. It's all kinds of stuff. Discord is definitely where our community sits the most. So
if you're hearing that, y'all, if you want to join a fun community, it's right there. So follow the link in the description of this episode, and I think you'll definitely be in for a good time. So without any further ado, you can find us as always on Instagram from a social media perspective. We also post our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. Again, you can find Ron and Jenna. Jeez Louise, guys. I'm getting tired apparently. Yeah, you can find them on their channel as well as TikTok, and of course they are branching out. So look for them out there in the wild. You won't be disappointed. But without any further ado, let's get the duck out of here.